Alright. Alright. So, this is the second time that my videos have been removed, but I know why this is happening now. So, if you guys don't know, okay, what you think you have control over, you do not have control over. It's just a show, okay? So what I'm referring to is the president or the prime ministers or the whatever we feel like we have an election to, right? So we feel like we can choose the president. And if we feel like we can choose the president, then we feel like we control the narrative and we feel like we have control over what's going on in our lives, right? That is not the case, okay? The presidents and the politicians, these are people that are just the show in front of your face. And then what actually sits behind these people is something that we would call the world government, right? A very, very small population of mega, super, elite, rich people and rich families that have been around for decades and generations. This shit has never changed, okay? But they want you to believe that you have some type of choice of what's going on and who controls your life. Well, like I said, that's not the case, because look, no matter what happens in life, no matter where we go, no matter who is the president, whether it's a Democrat, Republican, man, I got something in my throat. Yeah, I have corona. Anyways, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't change anything, really. It really doesn't change anything. Those are things that they just masquerade and put in front of your face to turn your eye away from, you know, what's really actually happening behind the scenes, okay? And what am I saying here? Okay, so what I'm saying is this. In 2017, 45 million people got the flu in the U.S., okay? 61,000 people died, okay? Where was the hysteria then? Why were we... No panic, no hysteria, no nothing. Why? I can tell you why, okay? So... if that was not a government or a world government agenda at that point, right? So it didn't matter. It just passed through, and it wasn't transformed into mainstream media and transformed into this, you know, type of blasting mind control that you see. Because, as it was stated, you know, repetition is the most amazing form of mind control ever. I mean, most people, when they think of mind control, they get, like, they think so like, oh, mind control, like it's some guy waving the thing and you're gonna walk around like a fucking zombie. No. Mind control is simply implanting something in your brain for you to react to, right? Because if they can control what's put into your brain, they can control the reaction, right? And the reaction to survive is panic. Right, which is that's the narrative that we want to push right now. And okay, so to focus on the disease for a second, because I've done a lot of research now, right? And I still don't believe the numbers of these death totals and the shit that you're being told. I don't believe anything that spoke to me by this fucking television right here. I still don't believe that. But if there is a virus, right? The truth of the matter in the areas that you can do research, right? There's a lot of different sources and different things that you can go, and you can, same way, you have to take everything that you read with a bit of a grain of salt, but you mix it all together and you can come up with a proper conclusion, okay? So, what I am getting at is this virus only is a threat to about 20% of the world, okay? It's proven. Already in Italy, they show the stats, right? 0.8%, 99% of people that have passed away from the coronavirus in Italy were people who had one condition, two conditions, some even three conditions, you know, and more serious underlying health conditions. that have passed away from this. Now, listen, I don't want to sound in any way, shape, or form as though like these people don't matter, because they absolutely do. And at least to me, to the government and to the world, they don't give a shit about these people, though. They want to make it seem like they give a shit about these people, but they don't give a shit about these people. So, but so our reaction to this, all right, the reason why we're creating hysteria over this right now is because if we create hysteria, they can remove something they want to change and implant something new. And that's what's going on right now. This is all about digitizing the world, okay? Because if you digitize the world and you eliminate cash, so much changes, okay? And it so benefits the higher up, all right? So by eliminating cash is the general idea of what is going on here. This is the one of the narratives of what's happening. I promise you, these are facts, okay? And how they're going to do that is by using this virus as a means of spread. So it's not safe. Cash isn't safe, and this shit's already happening now. There's tons of places that don't take cash anymore, and this is what's going on in the world. Though the world is fucking shut down, but trust me, when you come back into it, that's going to be a big part of something that starts to change, and it's all to keep you safe. Okay? But here's the part to think about. If only 20% is at risk, why the fuck are we crashing the world's economy when we could just isolate the people that are at risk of this? We could isolate the people and we could use our resources for them instead of crashing the whole entire world's economy and, smashing everything to bits, right? But we don't want to do that, because if we do that, if we just focus on these people, then we would be able to solve this problem and regularly move on with our lives, and we wouldn't be able to implement a massive form of change. If you don't believe what I'm saying, just take a look at China, okay? Take a look at China and how they've solved this problem, okay? This is the second part of what I'm going to tell you about surveillance and a different type of a digital world in the way that they can monitor people and keep track of you, right? So look at China. If you don't believe me, just Google what has happened in China now after. Google the way the surveillance is over there, which has been around for a while, but you ever wonder why there was lots of rioting, all these things going on? Just pay attention to the details, okay? So just take a look at what happened in China, okay? Now, over here, we feel like, this would never happen to us because, we're America and we're, too outspoken and blah, blah, blah. So this wouldn't happen to us, we feel. Oh, it will. It's just something that's going to take a bit more time. And now they have the all-time reason to do this. Because look at what's happening. Nothing what's happening makes any fucking type of sense. From any logical standpoint, none of this makes any fucking sense if you actually sit and you actually think about it, okay? Like I said, just go back to that fact. And this is a fact. These are fucking facts, okay? 20% of the world is at risk for this, about 20%. Okay? So why would we not isolate and keep those people safe? I.e., the elderly people or people that have, multiple underlying conditions. Why would we not have touched these people and isolated them to the point where, in obviously a positive way. I mean, just help. Why wouldn't we have isolated these people and helped these people? Instead, we want to crash the whole world's economy and the other 80% of these people that it's literally going to affect, not even a little bit, right? Like, I mean, literally, you'll barely know that you'll just move on with your life. So why would we stop all of these people, the vast majority of people, from being able to go to work, make money, and move forward, right? Because again, then you cannot implement this change. And that is what this is all about. Because, like I said, to touch on the surveillance part of it, if you thought when Facebook came and did the whole fucking, they listen to you and they push ads to you, and if you thought that shit was scary, and that's a form of mind control as well. They control what you see, so therefore they can control what you buy and the percentages of what you're going to spend money on, all right? That's a base form of mind control right there. And there was a fucking uproar about that. Wait till you see what happens next, Okay, wait till you see the direction in which this world is going. We really want to feel like this world cares about us, right? We are the little people, man. The world don't care about us. This world don't care about us in the center mass of things. That's just the face of it, man. They don't give a shit about the little guy. This economic crash is going to wipe out half the little guys. And that's what they want. They don't want fucking ma and pa stores and small businesses, and they don't want that shit. Like, we can wipe all that shit out now. The whole world's gonna change. We pulled everybody back. We're gonna crash the whole entire economic system and replace it with something new. That's what's going on here. So the surveillance part of it would be like, listen, do you remember pre 9/11? Do you remember what it was like to go through the airports? I don't know, a lot of people are probably young, but I don't know if you guys remember. But it was very different in airports before 9/11 came, which is a whole other crock of shit. Don't even get me started. But absolutely many people died on that day, and we never want to take that lightly. Tons of people died on that day, but it just didn't happen in the way that they tell you that it happened. Okay, and watch Loose Change. If you want to watch something, go watch this video film. It's called Loose Change. It'll change the way that you think the government actually works or cares for you. But pre 9/11, things were very different until they can come and implement this act of terrorism, and then they're protecting you, and they do all these crazy things now that they have the right to do now, right? That's the whole thing. Now they have the right to do this because this crazy thing happened, and they're protecting you, okay? So that's what's happening now, okay? They're going to come in, and now it's like there'll be... I can't predict the future of what that part will look like, but just picture in a way of using, getting your temperature, getting your vitals signs, and all this as a way of taking your information, right? Of tracking you. That's what this is, right? They can now keep track of everybody digitally, right? And if the currency now is changing to a digital currency, right? This all makes sense. So, look, it's a pretty scary time that we're living in. But the conclusion to what I'm going to tell you is, like, at least for me in my life, right? I've always been a person of adaptation. I've never been a person that fears change. I welcome change. I welcome challenge, right? Right now, the world has put me in front of one of the largest challenges we've ever seen. But for me, fortunately, I run an online business. So my business is not one of the businesses that is going to be crushed by this. Right now, it'll obviously have an effect on my business, i.e., for my clients and people that will potentially purchase dogs and purchase, clothing and gear from me. But realistically, my business is actually put in a better spot from what's going on because everybody's at home right now. I run a digital entertainment company. That's one of my companies. So here we are right here. You're here. And all my other platforms, So this, for me, is actually a positive thing. But I can't sit here in the face of world disaster and smile, really. Because it's sickening what's going on, okay? Like, it's sickening what's happening and the manipulation that is going on in this globe right now. So to be a part of it just has you feeling some type of way anyway. So it's hard for me to focus on that fact of that. It's like, for my world, this is actually a positive thing. I can't see positive when we're, allowing supposed people to die, which again, people I do believe at this point that people are passing, okay? But not even close to the amount of numbers that they want you to believe, okay? And what the narrative that's not being let out all the time, unless you dig for it, is the people that are actually affected by this. And that's why when I was sitting there, when she would tell me stories, she'd be like, oh, the person had leukemia, or the person had diabetes, and I was like, what? Like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. And these are the only stories that you could find in the media, because those are the only people that are truly, really being seriously affected by this right now, okay? So these are facts. Yeah, these are facts. You can be mad at me all you want, but these are actually facts. So you can go research this shit yourself. 0.8% of Italy, 0.8%, that's 99% of people had not one, only one, some two, some three different conditions that have passed away from this. But creating a global panic is the idea here. And I'll roll back to what I said in the beginning. In 2017, 45 million people got the flu. 61,000 people died. Okay, 61,000 died. In my wife, we went in 4 months' time about this has been going about 4 months. They want to have you thinking it's only when it was in your life. This shit's been around for about 4 months, okay? In 4 months' time, if we're at a total of 10,000, this wouldn't even reach that. But the thing is, and I was telling her, this thing doesn't have the ability to reach that many people because the vast majority of you are not going to be affected by this. It will not affect you at all. It'll feel like a regular bug and you'll go. And look, I'm not going to even dig on all of this other shit, but like the testing is also controlled by these same people. The results and the statistics are all controlled by these same people, right? But you have to, at a certain point, you can't tell all stories, right? But there's a certain time where it's like, look, they roll this shit out, right? And then it takes on a life of its own. And it's basically like you can back away from it. You have hysteria. So this thing takes on a whole entire life of its own. You know how opinionated people are. You know you got Facebook and all these other outlets and sources. Well, let me tell you something about that, though. I talked about this earlier because YouTube's been deleting my videos. But I'm gonna title this one differently. That's also part of this shit. Okay? If you don't think, here's something just to think about. Okay? Well, first of all, here's another fact if you didn't know, if you need more help. Okay. Piles and piles of CEOs of the biggest companies in the world have just randomly abandoned their posts when the stock market is at its all-time high, right? Was at its all-time high. Okay, so my point is, if you don't think the elite rich people of this world have a different connection to information than you do, then you have lost your mind. Okay, money is the ruler of the entire world. Okay, and the more you have of it, the closer you are to the actual control of what's going on. Okay? Just think about that. Just let that shit roll in your brain. Just let everything I said marinate. And go out. Well, a lot of you can't go out. But just be prepared to bring our heads up in a vastly different world. That's gonna change. Now, as everything, all this hype and this panic, I get everybody panic, the whole world's gonna change. I can calm you down too. I can calm you down. Let's come down with me. This is how it always happens. There's always a big old problem, and there's just big things happen in your life, and then they settle down. And we will adjust to whatever the world puts in front of us next, as we always have. Okay? But just some things to think about, people. It's a very interesting time to be alive. This by far is the largest piece of history, and we all are a part of it, which is crazy. You were here to see this. As sickening as it is to know the reality of what it is that you're seeing now, we were all a part of this. We all got to witness this, right? I'm scared for what the fuck the future looks like for my children in a certain regard. But again, like I said, it will settle down. People will calm down. And things will go back into a flowing order with due time. Unless... No, we're not even going to go there. We're not even going to go there. Okay, people, I love you guys. That's it. That's all I got to say. I got things to do today. But I'm going to upload this one. I'm going to title it differently. Hopefully it doesn't get deleted. But I'm out, people. Rewind that. Play it over a couple times. It'll all make a lot of sense in your brain. Oh, yeah, one more thing. One more thing. Do you think it was ironic that Iran got literally railed by this the hardest? Do you think that was ironic that happened? Think about it. All right, people. I'm out. Love y'all. Peace, love, respect. Be good. Be safe. Be strong. Peace.